Sponsored by Local Touch Online, a free online magazine that has an exclusive article by Pop Culture Geekery every month.
Once upon a time, there was a happy little bunny who lived in a magical valley. One day, he unearthed a mysterious ancient skull. He went to add it to his collection of other ancient items, and something amazing happened. The bunny, the item, and the mask all fused together to become
the dreaded vanilla.
This is only one of many fusions you can create in the game Skully Bunnies.
Hi everybody, this is Sarah from Pop Culture Geekery, and today we're going to be playing the game Skully Bunnies. Our friend Shannon went to Dice Tower in Las Vegas and luckily met the creator of this game, who's Chick Meow Studios, which is an independent game maker. So this is an independent game. It is being sold online, so we will tag the website in our description for you there, so you can buy a copy if you like. And it is 12 or older for our players' age, 30 to 60 minutes to play, and it goes up to 8 players, 2 to 8 players. Okay, so these are the components of the game, and I'm also going to tell you about how we win and how you set up, which is all pretty easy. So first of all, you're going to get a set of rules. You're going to get the general card deck, which is right here, and we'll talk about more about what's in there. And then you're going to get the Skully Bunnies, which are going to be in 4 piles that are face up, and they're sorted by type. So like all my Mystic Skully Bunnies are going to go in this pile. All of my regular Skully Bunnies are going to go in this pile, and these 4 piles are in the middle of the table so everybody can reach and see them. And then we have the little cheat sheet card that tells you all the parts of your turn and what you can do, and has some special abilities on the back as well. So going back to these Skully Bunnies in the middle here, we have 4 different kind of factions of Skully Bunnies. We have the regular, the mystic, the dark, and the ancient. So there'll be more on those later, but those are just your 4 factions to know. They're also color-coded. Makes it easier for you. Now how you win is in a 2 to 5 player game, you want to collect 4 of these. They can be any mixture of numbers of factions, so like I could have 1 of each, or I could have 3 regulars and 1 ancient, or 2 mystics and 2 dark, or it doesn't matter. Any combination is fine as long as you have 4. The moment someone gets 4 Skully Bunnies, they win. Now when you have 6 to 8 players, that drops down to 3. You only need 3 Skully Bunnies to win, and that's kind of to balance the time a little bit. So going into setup, this is how you set them up in the middle. That part's easy. Face up piles. You're gonna take your cheater cards, as I like to call them at least, and you're gonna give 1 of those to each player. It's just Joe and I playing today, so I'm gonna set it up for us. The rest of those you can put back in the box, put away. And then we have our general deck here, and for our general deck, each player, of course you're gonna wanna make sure you shuffle them very well, but we already have, so each player is gonna get 5 cards to start with, and that's your hand of cards. Okay, so I briefly talked about our factions, so that they're different colors. So this is the dark faction, and in each faction, you're gonna have 3 different types of cards. You're gonna have bunny cards, you're gonna have skull cards, and you're gonna have fusion item cards. Now how the gameplay goes is whenever you play cards, before you can play a skull or a fusion item, you have to have a bunny down. First you have to have a bunny to put your skull on. Then the next time you can play your skull on that bunny. And then after the skull, you can play a dark fusion item. Now you cannot, if you don't have a bunny, you can't just play a skull down. And you can't just play a dark fusion item down without a bunny with a skull on top of it already. So it has to be that order. Now once you get all 3, your dark fusion item here, that is how you get a Skully Bunny. So having all 3 of those, you would automatically get to go into the dark Skully Bunny deck and pick any Skully Bunny that would go on the top of this. And then you would have 1 out of 4 of your Skully Bunnies. So that's generally how the gameplay works. You're trying to get those cards out to make those sets to get the Skully Bunnies. And we have a couple other types of cards we're going to look at. Alright, and in addition to your factions, which are the black, brown, gray, and white cards, you also have purple cards. Purple cards are your action cards. So they're going to do something that's going to happen, and then they're going to go to the discard pile. These are just a couple of them, but there are a whole bunch of different ones. And then, aside from those, we also have the red cards. There are only 2 types of red cards. Out of luck and super out of luck. Now, out of luck is used to cancel any card. So for instance, if somebody played over here, if somebody was just playing their dark fusion item, I could use out of luck to cancel that card, sending it to the discard pile and not letting them get their Skully Bunny. This would also go to the discard pile. But the thing with out of lucks is you can keep going with them. So if I play it out of luck to cancel something, somebody else can cancel my out of luck with another out of luck, and you can keep going as long as people want to cancel until a final cancel gets it. But then we go to our other red card. This is the super out of luck card. So at any time, if someone plays a super out of luck card, that cancels and nothing else can be done. So no one can play an out of luck or a super out of luck on a super out of luck card. It just finishes the battle. So from my first example, if I started and I just put super out of luck, then that would be canceled, and then nothing else can be done. We couldn't go back and forth. Or I could also use it in the battle to stop the battle. Another thing that's different about the super out of luck is instead of getting discarded, they actually go out of the game when they're used. So you kind of just have to make a little out of the game pile so that they won't be shuffled back in if the deck is shuffled. So now we're going to start gameplay, and gameplay is pretty easy as well. You're going to see on your little how a turn works card, first there's an upkeep phase. There is nothing for us to do right now during the upkeep phase. I'm probably going to go back to that a little bit later and show you some things, but basically it just lets you move around cards that you need to move around before your turn starts. Like I said, there's nothing like that right now, so I'll use an example later for that. After you upkeep, which that's, there's nothing to do right now for that, then you draw a card. Always draw a card. Then you have your action. So for your action, you can either play a card from your hand, or you can, if you don't have anything you want to play, then you can draw another card. And then at the end of your turn, you just discard down to 7 cards in your hand. We did start with 5 cards in your hand, so it's just if you happen to get up to that you have more than 7 cards, then you would discard down to 7 at the end of your turn. And then this is the next person's turn. So I've drawn my card. So let me see. I am going to play Inner Eye. Look at any player's hand and take 1 card, add that card to your hand. So I'm going to look at Joe's hand now. I can't see it yet. He has to give it to me. You're seeing Joe's hand right now. Okay. And I get to take 1, so. I'm going to go ahead and take his out of luck card. I'll give his hand back to him, and this just goes to the discard pile. And I don't have more than 7 cards, so now my turn is over. Okay, now it's Joe's turn. He's gonna draw his card, and we'll see what he's gonna do. He's gonna try to trade hands with me. And I'm gonna say he's out of luck. This is generally how gameplay goes when I play with Joe. Alright, it's Joe's turn again. Let's see what happens this time. Well, Joe's trying to play inner eye on me to look at my hand and take a card. I don't want Joe to take a card though, so he's out of luck again. This is why Joe loves to play this game with me. Alright, it's my turn. I already drew my card, and now I'm gonna crumble Joe's skull. So this is Joe's skull, and it's going all the way to the discard pile. Alright, Joe's turn again. Try again, Joe. Okay, hunting accident. He wants to send my bunny to the discard pile. And I'm gonna say he's out of luck again. Nope, Joe. I'll keep my bunny. As you can see, Joe has not been having the best luck. This happens when you play against me. No, this happens in this game a lot. There's a lot of backstabbing. So it's a lot in the draw of the cards. You can get lucky, you can not get lucky. In this case, I've been getting a lot of ammo to stop Joe, and Joe hasn't been getting a lot of ammo to stop me. So we'll see how the game goes from here. Right, Joe ran into a problem for his turn, so we're gonna show you what happened now. Joe drew his card, and he either can't play anything or he's choosing not to play anything. So instead of doing his action to play a card, he's just gonna draw another card.
And then the turn is done, right?
And then his turn is over, except if he has more than 7 cards, he has to discard down to 7. Okay, so it's my turn again. So I am gonna draw a card. And then I have a regular bunny, a regular skull. So next, I'm gonna play a regular fusion item. Now, unless Joe can stop me, then I'm gonna get a Skully Bunny. He cannot stop me. So in this case, what I do is I go to the regular Skully Bunny pile, and I'm gonna pick out, I can pick out any one I want. It doesn't have to be the top one. So these, I'm just gonna show you real quick. This means that it's an ongoing ability that the Skully Bunny has. Usually you get to do something every turn. And this means it's a one-time ability. So when you get the card, you do what it says, and then that's it. You don't do it again. And then there's also this symbol here, which is a very specific card. It's a defense card. So usually those ones are just make it so nobody can mess with it once you have the Skully Bunny, because there are cards that can get rid of Skully Bunnies once you have them. So so I can pick any ability I want. Let me look. Okay, this is the one that I want. The Bunny Man. The Skully Bunny, this Skully Bunny allows the player to play an additional card during their action phase. This ability activates on the player's next turn. So next turn and going forward for the rest of the game, as long as I have this card, I will still draw 1 card, but I will get to play 2 cards instead of 1 every turn. Alright, so just popping into gameplay for a minute, guys. Wanted to keep you up to date. I just got my second Skully Bunny. So this Skully Bunny is going to allow me to draw an extra card every turn. So now, from now on, as long as I have them, I'm going to get to draw 2 cards in my draw phase and then play 2 cards in my action phase. So with that said, playing the fusion item that got me, that was my first play, so I have another play. And I'm gonna play Retribe, which is also a really interesting card. It says combine and shuffle your hand, the discard pile, and the draw deck together. Draw a new hand of 5 cards, and then take another turn. So for me, this is really good because I get to shuffle all this. I get to take a complete other turn, which means I get to draw the 5 cards it says here, but then I take my draw phase. So I get to draw 2 more cards because of my bonus, and then play 2 more cards, and then eventually Joe will get to have a turn. So it's my turn, and I'm gonna play this card, which is Hunting Accident. So it says, send any bunny in play to the discard pile. A bunny that is part of a fused Skully Bunny may not be discarded, which means like you couldn't play it on a Skully Bunny that has the top card like this. But since Joe has none of those, he's open season over here. Hunting season is open. So I'm gonna target his bunny here because it has a skull on it. And what will happen is this skull stays with him, but it's just kind of floating here in the floating skull zone. And it can't do anything without a bunny. So eventually, this is what the upkeep phase is for. Once he gets a bunny out here that's a mystic bunny again, then during his upkeep phase, he can take this skull and put it back on that bunny. But for now, it's just kind of there. So I just played my Dark Fusion item to get my 3rd Skully Bunny. And I'm actually going to choose the one right on top here, which is Bummy, and that the Skully Bunny cannot be uninfused. I wanted to point out that when you play the regular game, the rule is that you can only have 1 Skully Bunny of each ability. So like I couldn't have 2 Skully Bunnies that let me draw an extra card, or 2 Skully Bunnies that let me have another play during my action phase. I couldn't have 2 of this type because all the different factions, they have the same choices of the cards. So you do have to get different ability Skully Bunnies. The only exception is if you're playing with the variant, because there is a variant where you can choose to play with, you can double up on abilities if you want to, but you have to choose if you want to play that variant. So we're not playing the variant right now. So I'm just gonna get this one. So I have played my Mystic Fusion item here, and thus this is my last Skully Bunny. I just get one of these and just pick, technically I have to pick a different one. It doesn't really matter though at this point because it's just gonna end the game. When you get the last one, the game automatically ends as long as you're not stopped in playing the fusion card. So since I successfully played it, I wasn't stopped. These are my 4 Skully Bunnies. I win. The score was 4-1. Joe put up a nice fight. Thank you for joining Sarah and Joe from Pop Culture Geekery playing Skully Bunnies today. We hope you'll pick up a copy. The independent game maker can sure use your support, and don't forget to look in the description for that website, and we will see you next time.